You're chasing people who don't care about you, texting first, always reaching out, waiting for their approval, their attention, their validation. You're begging for a seat at tables where you're not respected, where you're tolerated, not celebrated, where they remember you only when they need something. And every time you do this, every time you chase, every time you beg, you leak power. You give away your dignity, your self-respect, your sovereignty. You become a slave to their attention, and they can feel it. They smell the desperation, the need, the weakness, and it repels them. Because here's the truth nobody wants to admit. The person who needs nothing from others holds all the power. The person who can walk away, who can be alone, who doesn't need the crowd, that person is free. And everyone else? They're prisoners pretending to be social. The ancient Stoics understood something that modern people have completely forgotten. Your ability to be alone is the measure of your strength. Marcus Aurelius, the most powerful man in the Roman Empire, surrounded by millions of people, wrote in his private journal, "People who labor all their lives but have no purpose to direct every thought and impulse toward are wasting their time, even when hard at work." He was alone at the top, surrounded by senators, generals, advisors, and trusted none of them completely. He knew that if he needed their approval to function, they owned him. So he became self-sufficient, mentally sovereign, complete within himself, and that made him unbreakable. Epictetus, who started life as a slave, literally owned by another human being, became one of the freest men who ever lived. Not because his circumstances changed, but because he mastered the art of being alone. He said, "If you wish to be free, desire nothing and no one that is not within your control." Translation: stop chasing, stop begging, stop needing. By the end of this video, you'll understand the 5 iron laws of independence that the Stoics used to become mentally and socially invincible. You'll learn why being forgotten is actually a gift, why silence is more powerful than words, and why you must be willing to lose everyone to truly be free. But first, you need to understand why your need for others is destroying you. The disease of needing others. Let's be brutally honest about what you're doing right now. You check your phone constantly to see if they texted back. You refresh social media to see if anyone liked your post. You alter your opinions to fit in with the group. You bite your tongue when someone disrespects you because you don't want to lose them. You're negotiating with people who should be grateful you even give them attention. And you think this is normal. You think this is how relationships work. It's not. It's slavery. The Stoics had a term for this: proskinesis, the practice of bowing down to those who hold power over you. It was considered the ultimate degradation. And that's what you're doing every time you chase someone who pulls away. Every time you explain yourself to someone who already decided you're wrong. Every time you beg for respect from someone who's shown you they don't value you. You're bowing. You're surrendering. You're making yourself small. Why? Because somewhere along the way, you were taught that being alone is the worst thing that can happen to you. That popularity equals worth. That if people don't want you around, something is wrong with you. So you chase, you perform, you contort yourself into whatever shape gets you accepted, and in the process, you lose the only thing that actually matters: yourself. Here's what the Stoics knew. There's a massive difference between loneliness and solitude. Loneliness is weakness. It's the feeling that you need others to feel complete, that without them, you're less, that their absence creates a void you can't fill. Solitude is strength. It's the ability to be alone without being lonely, to be complete within yourself, to need no one's presence to feel peace. Most people can't tell the difference. They run from being alone because they confuse it with being lonely. But the Stoic understands that solitude is where power is built. Seneca, exiled from Rome by a paranoid emperor, stripped of his wealth and status, wrote some of his greatest works in isolation. He wrote, "Withdraw into yourself as much as you can. Associate with people who are likely to improve you." He wasn't lonely. He was free. Marcus Aurelius, on the battlefield, separated from his family, watching soldiers die, wrote, "Nowhere can man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul." He didn't need Rome's approval. He didn't need the Senate's validation. He had himself, and that was enough. When you master solitude, you become dangerous to everyone who tries to control you through social manipulation, because the weapons they use, rejection, exclusion, withdrawal of attention, don't work on you anymore. You can't threaten someone with loneliness who has mastered being alone. And that's exactly what we're going to build. Law 1. Never explain your choices. The first law of independence. Stop explaining yourself. Right now, when you make a decision to leave a job, to end a relationship, to change directions, your first instinct is to justify it. Here's why I'm doing this. Here's the logic. Here's how it makes sense. Please understand. Please approve. Stop. Every explanation is a confession that you need their understanding, that their opinion matters, that you're not fully convinced yourself. The Stoics called this apologia, the defensive posture of someone who believes they owe the world an explanation. You don't. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "I have often wondered how it is that every man loves himself more than all the rest of men, but yet sets less value on his own opinion of himself than on the opinion of others." You love yourself, but you care more about what they think than what you know to be true. That's insanity. Here's the power move. Make your decision. Execute it. Say nothing. When they ask why, you simply say, "Because I chose to," and nothing more. Watch what happens. Some will be confused. They expect justification. They expect you to seek their approval. Some will be angry. Your refusal to explain feels like a rejection of their authority over you, which it is. And some will respect you more than they ever have, because they finally see someone who doesn't need permission to live. Epictetus taught his students, "If you wish to be a writer, write. And if someone says you're not a writer, let them. Their words are sounds in the air. Your actions are reality." Notice what he's not saying. Explain to them why you're a writer. Prove to them you have the qualifications. Convince them you deserve the title. No, just write. Let the work speak. This applies to everything. You're leaving? Leave. Don't write a dissertation on why. You're done with them? Be done. Don't justify it. You're pursuing something unconventional? Pursue it. Don't seek their blessing. The moment you stop explaining, you reclaim your power, because explanation is negotiation, and you don't negotiate with people who don't respect you. Seneca, when he was ordered to commit suicide by Nero, didn't plead his case, didn't beg for mercy, didn't explain all the reasons he deserved to live. He simply opened his veins calmly and bled out while discussing philosophy with his students. He owed Rome nothing, not his life, and certainly not his explanations. This is Law 1. Stop explaining. Your choices are yours. Your path is yours. The people who matter will trust you without explanation. The people who don't, their confusion is not your responsibility. Law 2. Stop chasing validation. Here's the second law. You must become your own source of approval. Right now, your self-worth is tied to external feedback. Did they compliment you? You feel good. Did they ignore you? You feel worthless. Did they criticize you? You spiral. You're giving strangers control over your emotional state, over your identity, over your sense of value. That's not strength. That's dependency. The Stoics had a practice called oikeiosis, the expansion of self-concern. It meant learning to find approval, validation, and worth from within, not from the crowd. Marcus Aurelius practiced this daily. As emperor, he had millions of people with opinions about him, senators praising him to his face and plotting against him in private, citizens loving him one day and cursing him the next. He could have become addicted to their approval. Let it define him. Instead, he wrote, "It never ceases to amaze me. We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinion than our own." He recognized the trap and refused to fall into it. Here's your practice. Every morning before you check your phone, before you see what others think of you, you ask yourself one question. Am I proud of who I was yesterday? Not. Were they proud of me? Not. Did they notice me? Not. Did I impress them? Just, am I proud? If the answer is yes, that's enough. If the answer is no, you know what needs to change, and it has nothing to do with them. This is how you break the addiction to validation. You create an internal scoreboard, standards that matter to you, values that are yours, not borrowed from others. And when you live up to those standards, you approve of yourself, regardless of what anyone else thinks. Epictetus said, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." Translation: their approval is irrelevant. Your self-respect is everything. When you stop chasing validation, something radical happens. You become selective about whose opinion you even consider. Right now, you give everyone a vote on your worth. The random person on social media, the coworker who barely knows you, the family member who peaked in high school. Everyone gets to weigh in, and you listen to all of them. Stop. The Stoics had a concept. Only accept feedback from people who have achieved what you want to achieve, or who genuinely want you to win. Everyone else? Noise. Marcus Aurelius had a mental practice where he would imagine sitting in council with the great philosophers before him. Epictetus, Zeno, Chrysippus. He would ask, "What would they think of my actions today?" He filtered his decisions through the wisdom of those he respected. Not the mob, not the critics, not the people who hadn't built anything themselves. You can do the same. Identify 3 to 5 people whose opinions you actually value. People who have walked the path you're walking. People who have your best interests at heart. Their feedback? Consider it. Everyone else? Irrelevant. When you stop chasing validation and become your own source of approval, you become unfuckable with, untouchable, free. This is Law 2. Stop seeking their approval. Build your own standards. Measure yourself against your own values, and let the crowd's opinion dissolve into the irrelevance it always deserved. Law 3. The gift of being forgotten. Here's the third law, and this one will hurt. Being forgotten is a gift. Right now, you're terrified of fading into irrelevance, of people moving on without you, of not being remembered. So you overpost, overshare, constantly remind people you exist. Still here, still relevant. Don't forget about me. It's exhausting, and it reeks of insecurity. The Stoics saw this differently. They understood that being forgotten by the masses is liberation. Seneca wrote from exile, "I have been shipwrecked before I even got on board. Life's voyage is short. Why waste it seeking the approval of those who will forget you the moment you're gone?" He was exiled, removed from Rome's elite, forgotten by the very people he once counseled, and it set him free. Because when no one is watching, when no one cares, when you're forgotten, you're finally free to be authentic. No performance, no mask, no pretending to be what they want. Just you, alone, real. That's the gift. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Soon you'll be ashes or bones, a mere name at most, and even that is just a sound, an echo. The things we want in life are empty, stale, trivial." He ruled the world, and he knew that even his name would eventually mean nothing. So he didn't build his identity on being remembered. He built it on being virtuous in the moment. Here's your practice. Embrace obscurity. Stop trying to be seen by everyone. Stop chasing likes, followers, attention. Disappear for a while. See who reaches out. See who actually notices you're gone. Most won't, and that's perfect. Because those who don't notice were never truly with you anyway. The few who do reach out, those are your people. Everyone else was just scenery. Epictetus taught, "Don't seek to have events happen as you want them to, but instead want them to happen as they do happen, and your life will go well." Translation: stop trying to force people to remember you. Let them forget. The right ones will stay. And here's the secret. When you stop needing to be remembered, you become memorable. Because everyone else is desperate for attention. They're performing, trying too hard, begging to be seen. And then there's you, quiet, self-contained, unbothered by being forgotten. That's rare. That's magnetic. That's power. This is law. 3. Let them forget you. Embrace obscurity. Stop performing for an audience that doesn't care. And in the silence, discover who you actually are without their attention. Law 4. Building the inner citadel in silence. The fourth law. True strength is built in silence, away from the crowd. Right now, when something good happens, your first instinct is to broadcast it. Post it. Tell everyone. Get their validation that yes, you did something worth celebrating. But here's what the Stoics knew. Every time you share your wins publicly, you give away the internal satisfaction. You replace self-approval with crowd approval. And you train yourself to need an audience for everything. Marcus Aurelius called the mind an inner citadel, an unbreakable fortress that no external force can penetrate. But that fortress isn't built in public. It's built in solitude, when you're alone, when no one is watching, when there's no applause. That's when you discover what you're actually made of. Seneca practiced this deliberately. He would take extended periods of solitude. No servants, no luxuries, just him and his thoughts. He wrote, "The wise man is content with himself, not that he wishes to be without a friend, but that he can be without one." He didn't need people around to feel complete. He had built his citadel so strong that solitude was peace, not punishment. Here's your practice. Take 1 day per week, completely alone. No social media, no texting, no calls unless emergency. Just you, your thoughts, your work, your reflection. At first, it will be uncomfortable. Your mind will scream for distraction, for connection, for validation that you exist. Push through, because on the other side of that discomfort is self-discovery. You'll learn what you actually think, what you actually want, what you actually value, not what they told you to want, what you genuinely desire. And in that silence, you build the citadel. You create a mental space where no one else's opinion can enter without your permission, where their words don't automatically become your truth, where you are sovereign. Epictetus said, "If a person gave your body to any stranger you met on your way, you would be angry, yet you hand over your mind to anyone who comes along, so they may abuse you, leaving it disturbed and troubled. Have you no shame in that? You're giving everyone access to your inner world. Every comment, every criticism, every opinion. It just walks right in and sets up camp. Build the walls, guard the gates. In silence, away from the noise, you construct an unbreakable mind. One that doesn't need their presence to feel whole. One that doesn't break under their judgment. One that is complete within itself. This is law. 4. Build your citadel in silence. Spend deliberate time alone, building mental sovereignty. Create a mind that needs no one's presence to function at its highest level. Law 5. You must be willing to lose everyone. The 5th and final law is the hardest. You must be willing to lose everyone, not because you want to, but because that willingness is freedom itself. Right now, you compromise. You tolerate disrespect. You stay in relationships that drain you. You maintain friendships that no longer serve you. Why? Because you're afraid of being alone. You'd rather have toxic company than no company. You'd rather be surrounded by people who don't truly see you than risk the silence of solitude. That's not connection. That's cowardice. The Stoics understood, the moment you need someone, they own you. The moment you can't walk away, you're a prisoner. Marcus Aurelius loved his family deeply, but he was also prepared to lose them. Not because he didn't care, but because he understood that attachment creates vulnerability. He wrote, "Loss is nothing else but change, and change is nature's delight. Everyone you love will either leave you or die. Everyone you trust will eventually disappoint you. Every relationship will end through death, distance, or dissolution." That's not pessimism. That's reality. And the Stoic doesn't run from that reality. He prepares for it. Epictetus practiced premeditatio malorum, premeditation of loss. He would imagine losing everything: his health, his freedom, his relationships, not to be depressed, to be prepared, to be free from the fear of loss. He taught, never say about anything, "I have lost it," but rather, "I have given it back." Has your child died? It was given back. Has your wife died? She was given back. This sounds harsh, but it's liberation, because when you understand that everything is temporary, that everyone is borrowed, that loss is inevitable, you stop clinging. You love fully, but without desperation. You connect deeply, but without dependency. You value people without needing them to complete you. And paradoxically, that's when you have the healthiest relationships, because people feel your strength. They sense that you're with them by choice, not by need. And choice is always more powerful than need. Here's your practice. Tonight, sit alone and imagine that everyone in your life, family, friends, partner, is gone, moved on, no longer part of your story. How do you feel? Panic, terror, emptiness, or peace? Sadness, yes, but also an underlying certainty that you would survive? That you are complete even without them? If you feel panic, you're not free yet. You're dependent. And that dependency is a weapon others can use against you. Work toward the place where you can imagine loss and feel peace. Not because you don't care, but because you know you are enough alone. Seneca, facing his execution, said goodbye to his friends calmly. He wasn't clinging to life. He wasn't begging for more time. He had already practiced losing everything. So when the moment came, he was ready. That's mastery. This is law. 5. Be willing to lose everyone. Not because you're cold, but because that willingness is the foundation of freedom. When you can walk away from anyone without breaking, you're finally uncontrollable. Practical application: how to move in silence. Now let's make this real. How do you actually apply these laws in your daily life? In relationships, stop being the one who always reaches out first. Stop explaining why you need space. Stop defending your boundaries. If someone truly values you, they'll meet you halfway. If they don't, your silence will reveal that, and you'll know where you stand. The Stoic doesn't chase love. He creates a life so fulfilling that the right people are naturally drawn to him. In friendships, stop maintaining friendships out of obligation. Stop showing up for people who never show up for you. Disappear for a month. Don't announce it. Just pull back. See who notices. See who reaches out. The ones who do, invest there. The ones who don't, they already left. They were just taking up space. At work, stop seeking validation from bosses or colleagues. Do excellent work, then be silent about it. Let the results speak. Let them discover your value on their own. The person who constantly seeks recognition appears insecure. The person who produces and says nothing appears confident. On social media, stop posting for validation. If you're posting to prove something to someone who hurt you, delete it. If you're sharing a win because you need people to tell you it's impressive, it means you don't believe it's impressive yourself. Post only what genuinely serves others or documents your journey. Everything else is begging. In rejection, when someone rejects you, romantic, professional, social, don't explain. Don't beg. Don't try to change their mind. Say, "I understand," and walk away with dignity. Complete silence afterward. Let them wonder if they made a mistake. Let them feel the absence of your energy. Let them realize what they lost only after it's too late. Marcus Aurelius said, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." They expected you to chase, to beg, to break. Your silence proves you're beyond them. And that's the ultimate power, the 30-day solitude challenge. Here's your mission, your test, your transformation. For the next 30 days, you're going into strategic solitude. Not isolation, not depression, intentional, powerful solitude. The rules: no social media posting. You can consume if necessary, but you produce nothing. No updates, no stories, no broadcasts. Reach out to no one first. Don't initiate texts. Don't start conversations. See who comes to you. Spend 1 hour per day in complete silence. No music, no podcasts, no input. Just you and your thoughts. Journal every night. Answer: what did I learn about myself today? What did I think I needed but realized I don't? Say no to at least one social obligation per week. Practice choosing solitude over company. At the end of 30 days, you'll discover something profound. Most people you thought were in your life, they weren't. They were just there because you were convenient. The discomfort you felt being alone, that was your addiction to validation withdrawing. It wasn't real loneliness. It was dependency dying. The peace you feel by day 30, that's freedom. That's sovereignty. That's power. Seneca wrote from exile, "Solitude prompts us to all kinds of evil, but the man who has learned to be alone has learned to be with himself." And that is the foundation of wisdom. This challenge will show you who you are without their attention, without their approval, without their presence. And when you discover that person, strong, complete, unbreakable, you'll never need them the same way again. You'll want connection, but you won't need it. And that's when you become truly free. The final truth. Let me end with this. You've been taught that needing people makes you human. That connection is everything. That being alone is failure. It's a lie designed to keep you controllable. The truth is, the person who can be alone is the person no one can manipulate. They can't threaten you with exclusion if you're comfortable in solitude. They can't control you with approval if you approve of yourself. They can't hurt you by leaving if you're complete without them. Marcus Aurelius, surrounded by armies and advisors, knew he was alone at the top, and he didn't run from it. He mastered it. Epictetus, born a slave, became freer than his masters because he needed nothing from them. Not their approval, not their presence, nothing. Seneca, exiled and forgotten, wrote his greatest works in isolation because he had built an inner world so rich that external validation became irrelevant. These weren't men who hated people. They loved deeply, but they loved from a place of fullness, not need. That's the goal. Not to become a hermit, not to reject connection, but to become so complete within yourself that connection is a choice, not a necessity. So here's my challenge to you. Stop chasing. Stop begging. Stop explaining. Stop performing. Disappear into yourself for 30 days. Build your citadel. Discover who you are when no one is watching. And when you emerge, you'll be someone the world has never seen before. A person who doesn't need them. A person who is enough alone. A person who is finally, completely, unbreakably free. If you're ready to walk this path, if you want more brutal Stoic truth that no one else will tell you, subscribe to Stoic Forge. This isn't self-help. This is self-mastery. Or don't. Stay where you are. Keep chasing. Keep begging. Keep needing them. But remember, the Stoics are dead. Their empires are dust, but their wisdom is immortal. And now, it's yours. Never chase. Never beg. Never need. Be whole alone, or be a slave forever. The choice is yours. He who is brave is free. Seneca.